It is April 1912, and more than 2,000 people are about to step onto the most famous ship ever built. This ship is not just large, it feels unreal, like a palace floating on the sea. Inside, everything shines: crystal lights, dark wood, silver details, and endless space. For the rich and powerful, this journey promises comfort, beauty, and total peace. No one on board knows what is coming. Tonight, you are one of them. You are a first-class passenger. You are about to live a day that will echo through history. Slow down. Let yourself step inside this moment. Your eyes open to soft morning light pouring through tall windows in your London hotel suite. It is April 10th, 1912, and this morning feels different. You press your hands into the cool cotton sheets, enjoying the quiet before the day begins. Then swing your legs over the side of the bed. The thick carpet is warm beneath your bare feet, a gentle comfort before the long journey ahead across the cold Atlantic. There is a soft knock at the door. 7 o'clock, madam, a calm voice says. Your lady's maid enters with a silver tray holding Earl Grey tea and warm toast. We must begin if we are to catch the boat train on time. You nod. This day has been in your thoughts for months. Today is the maiden voyage of the RMS Titanic, the newest and most luxurious ship ever built, and you hold a first-class ticket. You sip your tea and ask, is everything packed? Nearly all, madam, she replies, laying out your travel suit, a smart navy wool outfit with a matching hat. Packing for a journey like this is no small task. You need clothes for every moment of the day. Simple outfits for morning walks on deck, fine dresses for afternoon tea, and elegant gowns for evening dinners. Wearing the same dress twice would be unthinkable. Your usual life has been replaced by 4 massive trunks filled with clothing, not counting the tall stacks of hat boxes. First-class travel demands careful planning. For women, this means at least 1 tailored suit, strong silk or wool stockings, several sets of undergarments, clean blouses, a warm sweater, a wool wrap for cool air, a proper dinner bodice, polished shoes, and at least 3 sets of pajamas. Men face their own list: a black dinner jacket, evening shirts, a day suit, wool underwear, clean handkerchiefs, socks, pajamas, a bathrobe, slippers, and many ties. Most curious of all are the stiff, removable shirt collars, chosen to match the moment. A small detail, but one that says everything about the time. After breakfast, your maid helps you dress. First the chemise and drawers, then the corset, pulled, firm but not tight. Petticoats follow, rustling softly. The wool travel suit is buttoned closed. Your hair is carefully pinned and shaped beneath your hat. A touch of powder, a hint of perfume, and you are ready. Downstairs, hotel staff load your mountain of luggage into a waiting car. For a moment, you wonder if it is too much. The thought quickly fades. It is better to be prepared than to stand out for the wrong reason. White Star Dock, Southampton, you tell the driver. At Waterloo Station, the air feels alive. The Titanic special train waits at the platform, ready to carry its passengers straight to the docks. Porters rush past with carts stacked high with trunks. Families say their goodbyes. Reporters scribble notes. Did you see the passenger list? A friend whispers as you settle into the soft seat. The Astors, the Guggenheims. You smile. This voyage has drawn the most powerful names in the world. The thought of sharing dinners and deck walks with them sends a quiet thrill through you. Across the aisle, a gentleman checks his pocket watch. again and again. Everyone is waiting. The trip to Southampton takes only an hour and a half, yet today it feels much longer. You open your book, but your thoughts keep drifting back to the ship that waits at the water's edge. You've devoured the advertisements in the daily papers, seen the lavish illustrations. The Queen of the Ocean, they proclaim, practically unsinkable. Friends who recently traveled aboard the Titanic's slightly older sister ship, have raved tirelessly about the opulent Titubias, the marvels of her state-of-the-art amenities, the sumptuous dining experiences, and the Titanic, you've been assured, promises to be even more breathtaking. Then, as the train begins to slow its pace, drawing closer to Southampton, a sharp, excited gasp rings out from across the aisle. There she is. A ripple of excitement surges through the carriage. Everyone rushes, craning their necks towards the windows. In the burgeoning distance, you can just discern the imposing silhouette of 4 massive funnels, like colossal redwoods, piercing the pale sky. As the train inexorably pulls nearer, the sheer, staggering scale of the vessel slowly, majestically reveals itself. Your breath catches in your throat, a silent gasp. "Good Lord," mutters the gentleman beside you, his voice thick with awe. "She's massive." That, you think, is quite the understatement. The Titanic is an absolutely gargantuan marvel. 882 feet of gleaming black hull towers, impossibly high above the busy dock. Her pristine white superstructure, crowned with those distinctive buff-colored funnels, their tops tipped in smart black. She renders every other ship in the bustling harbor utterly insignificant, mere child's toys, bobbing in her immense shadow. The train finally hisses to a halt at the dockside station, and you descend into a swirling vortex of activity. Porters swarm the carriages, adeptly collecting the mountains of luggage. Photographers flash, capturing moments for posterity. Vendors hawk their souvenirs and shout the headlines of fresh newspapers. The air itself is a heady cocktail of coal smoke, the sharp temps of salt water, and an electrifying current of collective excitement. You know, they're saying she cost $7.5 million to build, your friend remarks, her voice just audible above the din, as your own steamer trunks are efficiently loaded onto the dock, onto a cart. Can you imagine? That was a treasure trove, equivalent to an astonishing $210 million in today's money. But honestly, as your gaze sweeps up the colossal, shimmering sides of this floating palace, it feels almost like a bargain for the privilege of sailing aboard her. The White Star Line, with a meticulousness akin to military precision, has orchestrated every detail. Your steamer trunks, those vital companions for a grand voyage, are already expertly sorted. The ones you'll need on board are destined straight for your sumptuous stateroom, while those deemed unnecessary for the crossing will be securely tucked away in the ship's cavernous hold, awaiting your arrival in New York. You spot small, neat, numbered stickers on each of your cases, a personalized touch bearing your name and cabin number, confirming their organized journey. And speaking of cabins, unlike the second and third class passengers who navigated lengthy, bustling inspection queues earlier, you find yourself gliding through a remarkably swift ticket check and customs formality. A crisp White Star Line official, impeccably uniformed, offers a slight bow as he escorts you towards the exclusive first-class gangway. "Your stateroom is on B deck, madam," he announces smoothly, a hint of pride in his voice. "One of our finest. This elevated walkway, unlike the crowded ramps thronged by lesser passengers, leads directly and discreetly to your deck. A separate passage designed for ease and elegance. As you step onto the dedicated gangway, you instinctively take one last, lingering look at the towering hull from the outside. The ship's sheer scale is breathtaking. You have to crane your neck, tilting back dramatically to catch a glimpse of the distant boat deck far above. A peculiar mix of exhilarating excitement and the slightest tremor of unease stirs within you at the monumental grandeur of it all. It's like walking into a building, not just boarding a ship. Your friend whispers beside you, mirroring your thoughts. You take a deep, anticipatory breath, the cool April air filling your lungs, and step across the threshold. The transformation is instantaneous, utterly dramatic. One moment, you are amidst the industrial clamor of the Southampton docks. The next, you are enveloped in what feels precisely like the grand corridor of an elegant English country estate or a supremely luxurious hotel. The only subtle reminder that you're actually on a vessel is the ship's gentle, almost imperceptible sway beneath your feet. Your eyes dart, hungry to absorb every exquisite detail. Rich, polished oak paneling gleams along the walls. Plush, deep pile carpets cushion and muffle your footsteps, absorbing any harsh sounds. Ornate electric light fixtures cast a warm, inviting glow over everything, reflecting off every meticulously cared-for surface. "Madam, if you'll follow me to the purser's office," a steward, resplendent in his crisp uniform, interjects politely. "You'll want to finalize your arrangements for the voyage." This, you quickly discern, is where the true commerce of first-class travel unfolds. The purser's office functions as the bustling nerve center of all passenger services. Here, you can secure your coveted deck chair for an additional fee. Of course, reserve your preferred dining tables, safely deposit any valuable possessions in the ship's robust safe, and handle a myriad of special requests that might arise. The line of fellow passengers is considerable, a silent testament to the ship's full booking, and as you patiently wait, your ears catch a low, flustered murmur. You overhear a steward speaking in hushed, yet distinctly anxious tones, addressing a fellow crew member about a passenger complaint. "Mrs. Shelley says her stateroom is little more than a cell," he whispers, a hint of exasperation in his voice. "Says it's bitterly cold and impossibly small. Insists she must have been put into second class by mistake." The other steward subtly rolls his eyes, a flicker of shared understanding passing between them. "The White Star Line might have gone a bit overboard with their advertisements," he replies softly. "Some of the first-class cabins are indeed quite small and rather bare," he sighs. "I'll speak to the purser." You make a quick mental note, a quiet wave of relief washing over you. Perhaps your B-deck stateroom, promised as one of our finest, was indeed a wise choice, after all. With your essential arrangements now meticulously made and your most cherished valuables safely tucked away in the ship's strongroom, another steward materializes, ready to guide you to your private sanctuary. He leads you through a labyrinthine series of impeccably decorated corridors, each one a testament to the vessel's land-based luxury. If not for the occasional, almost imperceptible gentle roll of the ship, you might genuinely believe you were meandering through an incredibly expensive, sprawling hotel. "Here we are, madam," he announces, a proud flourish in his gesture. "Stateroom B64. The heavy door swings inward, and you step into what will be your elegant home for the next glorious week. Unlike some of the more basic first-class accommodations, yours is a haven of true luxury. The room is exquisitely decorated in the refined Louis XV style, with delicate white and gold moldings tracing the walls, adding an air of regal charm. A comfortable, inviting bed, adorned with the finest crisp linens, dominates one wall, promising restful nights. You notice a small, exquisitely upholstered sofa in rich silk damask, a polished writing desk for correspondence, a gleaming marble-topped washstand, and ample closet space to house your extensive wardrobe. Something unusual catches your eye near the bed, an electric heater, such a marvel of modern convenience. You can't resist the urge to turn it on, feeling the immediate subtle warmth begin to chase away the slight chill from the air. Your luggage will arrive shortly, madam, the steward informs you, his voice soft. Would you like me to unpack for you, or will your maid be handling that? Before you can even formulate a response, a brisk knock sounds at the door. It's your friends from the train, their faces flushed with infectious excitement, practically buzzing with anticipation. You simply must come up to the boat deck. They insist, their voices bright with urgency. They're about to cast off, and everyone's gathering to wave goodbye. You hadn't planned to leave the comfortable confines of your cabin until you'd had a moment to freshen up, but their irresistible enthusiasm is utterly impossible to resist. Following your friends, you make your way through the ship's opulent interior and begin your ascent up the magnificent grand staircase. The staircase alone is an artistic marvel, truly worth the price of admission. It's a soaring, multi-deck masterpiece, crowned by an exquisite wrought iron and glass dome that floods the entire space with an ethereal, natural light. At the center landing, an ornate clock is flanked by beautifully carved wooden figures representing honor and glory, crowning time itself. It's so breathtakingly grand that several passengers have paused, their cameras flashing to capture its majesty. Can you imagine coming down these stairs in your evening gown? Your friend whispers, her eyes wide with wonder. After climbing several flights, your footsteps echoing softly on the plush carpet, you finally emerge onto the exhilarating open air of the boat deck. The April breeze, though cool, feels incredibly pleasant, carrying with it the unmistakable, invigorating scent of sea salt. The deck is already a bustling hive of activity, crowded with passengers. Some are chatting excitedly, their voices carried on the wind, while others wave enthusiastically to loved ones who appear as distant, tiny dolls on the dock far below. You find a perfect spot at the rail and gaze down the distance to the water below, feeling dizzying from this immense height. All around you, the atmosphere is utterly festive. Children dart playfully between the legs of adults, their laughter mixing with the calls of their parents. Nearby, a woman dabs at tears, a delicate lace handkerchief fluttering in her hand as she simultaneously waves goodbye. A group of young men, already well into the celebratory spirit, surreptitiously take swigs from a hidden flask, toasting the journey ahead. I heard they delayed the departure, someone near you says, a low murmur, something about a near collision with another ship. Indeed, there seems to be a slight commotion. The lively commotion of Southampton docks surrounds you, but your gaze is drawn to a startling sight. A smaller steamer, the SS New York, appears to have torn free from its moorings. It drifts precariously, drawn by an unseen force, swinging alarmingly close to the magnificent, dark hull of the Titanic. Look at that, a gentleman near you exclaims, his voice tight with surprise. The sheer pull from our propellers must have ripped her loose. You watch, your breath catching in your throat, as a frantic ballet of tugboats scrambles across the water, their engines churning, their purpose clear: intercept the rogue ship. For a few nail-biting minutes, the air itself feels stretched, heavy with the unspoken possibility of a devastating scrape. But then, a collective sigh of relief, as the New York is firmly secured, mere feet from catastrophe. Not exactly an ideal start. Your friend murmurs beside you, a nervous little laugh escaping her lips. But at least the delay was brief. Indeed, the moment passes, and the flurry of final preparations resumes. Then, a sound that vibrates through the very soles of your feet. The Titanic's whistle unleashes a deep, resonant blast, 3 long, powerful notes that echo across the vast harbor, announcing our imminent departure. It's a sound you feel deep in your chest, a physical tremor around you. The cheers of hundreds of passengers swell with renewed enthusiasm, hands waving, faces alight. Beneath your feet, an almost imperceptible shift begins, a subtle, gentle glide forward. You might have doubted it, a mere imagining, if not for the gradual, yet unmistakable, widening gap between the ship's polished side and the bustling shore. Titanic is truly moving now, at first with the elegant slowness of a sleeping giant, then gathering an unstoppable momentum. On the dockside, 1,000 handkerchiefs flutter like a field of white blossoms caught in a breeze. Some figures sprint alongside the ship, their final goodbyes carried on the wind, their voices straining. Others simply stand, watching in silent awe as this magnificent vessel, our floating palace, begins her maiden journey. As Southampton slowly fades into the distance, you feel a peculiar blend of exhilarating excitement and a sweet, tender melancholy. The threshold between solid land and boundless sea has been crossed. For the next week, this grand, moving world will be your entire universe. Shall we explore? Your friend suggests, her eyes practically sparkling with anticipation. We simply must. And so begins your very first day aboard the ship of dreams, blissfully unaware of the dramatic twist fate holds just 4 days hence. But for now, an intoxicating sense of limitless possibility washes over you as the Titanic steams majestically into the open waters, carrying you towards a grand adventure. I can't believe we're actually on the Titanic, your friend whispers, giving your arm an excited squeeze. The sheer scale of it, the luxury. Can you imagine the stories we'll tell when we reach New York? She muses, her voice soft with wonder. Little do you know, the stories of this voyage will indeed be told, but in a way utterly unimaginable to anyone currently on board. As the great ship glides away from Southampton, you are utterly struck by the unbelievable grace with which such an enormous vessel carves its path through the water. The gentle, rhythmic vibration beneath your feet is the only real indication you're truly at sea, apart from the vast, endless blue, stretching out in every direction, meeting the horizon in a haze of soft light. Well, your friend interjects, looping her arm comfortably through yours. Shall we discover what other treasures this floating palace has to offer? You nod eagerly, a ripple of excitement coursing through you, and together you begin what promises to be a proper exploration. Stepping away from the railing, you immediately notice how incredibly spacious the boat deck feels. It's a revelation, a world away from the cramped, bustling steamers you've endured on previous journeys. Here, there's ample room to stroll, to breathe deeply the crisp sea air, to simply exist without constantly jostling elbows with strangers. An older gentleman, impeccably dressed, tips his hat politely as he passes by. First crossing, he inquires, a twinkle in his eye, on the Titanic, no less. Yes, you reply, feeling a thrill. He chuckles warmly. Though I sailed on the Mauretania last summer, you'll find this quite the upgrade, madam. I was on Olympic just last year. Same superb design, but they've certainly added some lovely touches to her sister here. The private promenade decks for the parlor suites, for instance, are simply divine. Not that I could afford one, mind you. As he continues his stately progression, your friend leans in conspiratorially, a soft whisper brushing your ear. That was Sir Cosmo Duff Gordon, she breathes. His wife is Madame Lucille, the famous fashion designer. Already, you're brushing shoulders with society's elite. This voyage, it seems, promises to be as much about who you meet as where you're going, descending the sweeping grandeur of the grand staircase, its polished oak and wrought iron gleaming under the light. You pause on a deck where magnificent double doors beckon, leading into the first-class lounge. You can't resist a quick peek inside. The room is utterly spectacular, a vision of refined elegance, decorated in the lavish Louis XV style, with ornate white and gold paneling tracing the walls, deep plush carpets underfoot, and delicate gilt-edged furniture arranged in inviting, intimate groupings. A magnificent electric fireplace, surprisingly modern for a ship, dominates one wall. No actual flames at sea, of course. Tall, arched windows flood the space with soft, natural light, while countless crystal chandeliers hang, poised to sparkle and illuminate elegant evening gatherings. This is where the ladies will typically retreat after dinner. Madam, a passing steward explains, noticing your appreciative gaze and offering a polite, knowing smile, while the gentlemen enjoy the smoking room. You quirk an eyebrow, slightly amused. Separate spaces, you ask. A tradition of shipboard etiquette, madam, he replies smoothly, his smile unwavering, though of course no one would stop you if you preferred to join the gentlemen. Times are changing, after all. Indeed, times are changing, you muse, perhaps not quickly enough for your own modern sensibilities, but you're not here to challenge social conventions, at least not on your very first day. Moving on, you discover the reading and writing room, a wonderfully serene space, meticulously designed, with the ladies in mind. Several women are already settled in comfortable wing-back chairs, their heads bent over letters, their pens scratching softly, or engrossed in novels borrowed from the ship's extensive library. Just think, your friend muses, her voice hushed. In a few days, we'll be sending wireless messages from the very middle of the Atlantic. What on earth would our grandmothers say? She laughs, adding, mine would probably call it witchcraft. You laugh too, then declare, well, I demand to send one myself. The Titanic's wireless room, you soon find, is a hive of activity, crackling with energy. At $1 a word, messages are certainly not cheap. Yet that hasn't deterred the wealthy passengers from sending announcements of their presence on this historic voyage, broadcasting their arrival to the world. Your tour continues, leading you past the charming Café Parisien, a delightful spot designed to evoke the relaxed ambience of a Parisian sidewalk cafe, complete with elegant wicker furniture, potted plants, and trellises climbing the walls. It's an innovative space for a ship, offering a wonderfully casual alternative to the more formal dining saloon. We simply must take tea here tomorrow, your friend insists, her eyes bright with a new resolution. As you wander, the sheer scale of the ship becomes even more apparent. The corridors seem endless, each turning revealing another elegantly carpeted passage or a grand, sweeping stairwell. It would be incredibly easy to get wonderfully lost within this labyrinth of luxury, if not for the ever-present, helpful crew members stationed strategically throughout. Excuse me, you ask one such steward, noticing a discreet sign, but is that the squash court I've heard about? Yes, madam, he replies, his voice crisp. Down on the lower deck, indeed. One of the only squash courts at sea. 2 shillings per game. Rackets and balls are provided, and the physical instructor will even play as your opponent if you wish. You make a mental note to perhaps try it later in the voyage. You've never played. Speaking of unique opportunities, you'd caught whispers, a hushed marvel, about the ship's swimming bath. An actual pool, they say, a grand cavern of heated salt water nestled deep within the colossal hull. Shall we find it? You suggest, your voice light with intrigue. The notion of a pristine swimming pool, churning gently with the ship's rhythm, feels like an exquisite secret. Your quest takes you deeper, a journey through polished corridors that hum with unseen machinery. Down towards F-deck, you feel the subtle vibration of the mighty engines beneath your feet. On your way, you glimpse the gymnasium, a vibrant space requiring its own ticket through a polished porthole. Through the glass, you discover an array of the latest exercise contraptions, gleaming rowing machines, sturdy stationary bicycles, and, most bizarrely, electric horses and camels designed to mimic the thrill of a real ride. Look, your companion breathes, a soft whisper next to your ear, pointing. You follow their gaze to a woman, elegantly poised in a practical divided skirt, astride an electric camel that dips and sways with surprising realism. Mrs. Astor, your friend murmurs, recognizing the illustrious Madeline Astor, wife of the incredibly wealthy John Jacob Astor IV. She handles the mechanical beast with an almost regal composure, while a trim instructor in crisp white flannels stands attentively nearby, offering gentle words of encouragement. Honestly, that camel looks absolutely ridiculous. A confident voice pipes up from directly behind you. You turn, surprised, to face a young woman, perhaps your own age, a sparkle of amusement dancing in her eyes. I tried it yesterday on the Olympic, she confides, a wry smile playing on her lips. Felt nothing like actual camel riding. Believe me. Your friend's eyes widen. You've ridden real camels? Oh yes. Egypt, last winter. A far dustier affair, I assure you. She extends a firm hand. Margaret Brown. My friends call me Maggie, instantly charmed by her forthright American accent and self-assured demeanor. You and your friend introduce yourselves. Are you making your way to the swimming bath? She asks. I was just heading there myself. Remarkable, isn't it? How they've managed to keep the water from sloshing out, even with the ship's motion. Quite a clever feat of engineering. Accepting her warm invitation, the three of you descend further into the ship's depths, the air growing subtly humid and warmer as you approach F-deck. There it is, the magnificent swimming bath. You gaze, impressed, at the vast basin, 30 feet long and 14 feet wide, brimming with inviting, heated salt water that shimmers under the soft electric lights. A few gentlemen are already gliding through the tranquil surface, while attentive stewards stand ready with stacks of plush, fluffy towels. Ladies' hours begin at 2. An attendant politely informs you, a hint of apology in his tone. But you are welcome to reserve a private time. Right beside this aquatic wonder lies another of the ship's celebrated innovations, the Turkish baths. For an extra $1, first-class gentlemen can luxuriate in the steam, hot, temperate, and cooling rooms each morning. Ladies, like yourselves, have exclusive access between 2 and 5 in the afternoon. Worth every single penny, Maggie declares with a knowing wink. The cooling room alone, with its exquisite blue tiles and elegant teak furniture, transports you straight to an Arabian night. You completely forget you're even at sea. Your new American friend proves an absolute treasure trove of information. Her extensive travels on various ocean liners, making her an unofficial expert. As you all begin to ascend back through the ship's grand labyrinth, she effortlessly points out architectural details you might have missed, all while sharing delightful whispers of gossip about notable passengers. The Whittiners are hosting a private dinner party on the final night, she confides, conspiratorially, terribly exclusive. The invitations are absolutely the talk of first class. By now, your morning's exploration has almost brought you full circle, surfacing once more onto the brighter, more bustling upper decks. A distinct rumble from your stomach reminds you that breakfast feels like a distant memory, and luncheon hours are well past. The Palm Court should be serving tea soon, Maggie suggests, her eyes sparkling. Shall we? The Palm Court welcomes you, an exquisite space already aglow with the afternoon light. It truly is a tropical oasis in the heart of the Atlantic, lush with potted palms reaching towards the ceiling and inviting rattan furniture arranged in intimate groupings. In a distant corner, a small orchestra plays melodies so softly they feel like a gentle accompaniment to the scene. Stewards glide with practiced efficiency between tables, their silver trays laden with steaming pots of tea, delicate finger sandwiches, and irresistible pastries. You choose a table by the expansive windows, settling into the plush cushions as you watch the green coastline of England slowly, inexorably shrink into the horizon. The tea service is, of course, impeccable, gleaming sterling silver, fragile fine bone china, and linen so crisp it practically crackles as a steward unfolds it across your lap. Maggie lifts her teacup, her eyes sparkling. To new friends, she proposes softly, and new adventures, you clink your cups gently. As you sip your fragrant Darjeeling and nibble on a perfectly cut cucumber sandwich, conversation flows with delightful ease, touching on shipboard observations and exciting plans for New York. Maggie, you discover, is returning from an extended European tour, and her mind is a rich tapestry of adventures and anecdotes from across the continent. Did you hear we'll be stopping at Cherbourg this evening? She casually mentions, her voice low, and Queenstown tomorrow. Then it's open ocean, straight to New York. A quiet admission escapes you. I'd almost forgotten we weren't properly at sea yet. The sheer scale of the Titanic asterisk, combined with its incredibly gentle movement and astonishing stability, makes it remarkably easy to forget you're even on a vessel, let alone the largest in the world. Time sails by, as pleasant as the current conversation, and soon, the sunlight streaming through the windows begins to deepen, shifting into the warm, golden hues of late afternoon. Eventually, with a polite excuse, you return to the sanctuary of your stateroom. Your maid, Emily, has already worked her quiet magic, your trunks unpacked, and a selection of dinner attire artfully arranged. Not the full evening dress tonight, Emily, you instruct, a relaxed smile on your face. I believe the first night is a touch more informal. Very good, madame, she replies, her tone agreeable. Perhaps the navy dinner dress, then, with its lovely silver trim, as Emily deftly helps you into the garment, her fingers busy with the tiny buttons, tracing a line down your spine. You recount your afternoon's impressions of the ship. Even the servants' accommodations, you note, are a surprising step above other liners. Emily nods, clearly pleased with her berth, shared only with one other lady's maid, rather than the crowded dormitory-style quarters of lesser ships. The stewards have been most helpful, she adds, and the food in the servants' hall is remarkably good. Dressed now for dinner. You emerge into the elegant buzz of the reception room, just outside the first-class dining saloon on D-deck. This grand space hums with soft conversation, serving as a perfect preliminary gathering point for passengers to mingle, perhaps forming impromptu dinner parties. The air is alive with murmurs as people compare notes on staterooms and share their effusive first impressions of the Titanic. Through wide, polished entrances, you catch glimpses of white-gloved stewards making final, meticulous adjustments. Crystal goblets shimmer, sterling silver cutlery gleams, every detail poised for perfection. I hear they've delayed our departure from Cherbourg. A voice drifts from nearby. Some issue with the tenders. You turn, looking out the large, ornate windows. As the colossal vessel glides closer to the French coast, you notice a subtle slowing of its mighty engines, the deep thrum beneath your feet softening into a gentle pulse. Cherbourg, the harbor here, you'll discover, simply isn't deep enough to cradle a ship of Titanic immense proportions, meaning that passengers and precious mail will be ferried to and from the shore by smaller, nimble tenders. We won't be allowed ashore, will we? Your friend asks, a passing officer, a hint of curiosity in her voice. He smiles warmly. I'm afraid not, madam. Just a brief stop to take on a few more distinguished passengers and a fresh batch of mail. We should be underway again within 2 hours. A soft, melodic gong echoes through the corridor, announcing that dinner awaits. Unlike the grand ceremonial bugle calls that will herald future evenings, this first night's summons feels wonderfully informal. Stepping into the first-class dining saloon, you're once again struck by the sheer, breathtaking scale of Titanic. It's a truly enormous space, the largest on the ship, effortlessly accommodating over 500 guests. Your gaze sweeps across the pristine, white-paneled walls, rising elegantly to a ceiling adorned with intricate, gilded moldings and a dazzling array of sparkling crystal light fixtures that scatter warm light across the room. Beneath your feet, blue linoleum tiles are arranged in graceful, flowing patterns. Your table, madam, a steward gestures, guiding you toward a beautifully set table for 6, where you're introduced to the vivacious Mrs. Margaret Molly Brown and 2 other charming couples. Just you wait until tomorrow night, Molly quips with a wink as you settle into your plush seat. First night is always a bit casual. Tomorrow, you'll see the real display, tiaras, family jewels, and gowns straight from the most fashionable Parisian salons. Despite this casual designation by Titanic standards, the meal before you is anything but simple. The menu, presented with a flourish, offers a delightful bounty of choices for each course: rich consomme, delicate poached salmon, succulent roast duckling, tender sirloin of beef, and an array of fresh fruits and cheeses. Each dish, a miniature work of art, is presented on pristine white starline china, its elegant blue and gold border gleaming under the crystal lights. Throughout the meal, a wonderfully relaxed atmosphere prevails. The men, still settling into their new surroundings, have foregone the full evening dress and tails, opting for less formal jackets, while ladies have chosen simpler, yet still elegant, gowns over their most elaborate creations. It makes sense, you reflect, as many passengers are still finding their bearings, and some are, at this very moment, boarding in Cherbourg. Through the grand windows beside your table, you catch fleeting glimpses of the smaller, tender vessels, dwarfed yet determined, approaching asterisk, Titanic asterisks, towering, black hull. The SS asterisk, nomadic asterisk, specially designed to ferry first and second class passengers, looks almost like a child's toy beside this floating palace. I hear the Duff Gordons are boarding in Cherbourg, someone at the table mentions, and Benjamin Guggenheim too. Molly Brown chuckles, raising her wineglass. More millionaires per square foot than Newport in August. Her wit sparks a round of warm laughter, and the conversation flows as freely and smoothly as the fine wine, touching on everything from the latest political gossip to Parisian fashion trends and eager speculation about how swiftly Titanic might traverse the Atlantic on her maiden voyage. Captain Smith is known for setting records, one gentleman informs the table, though I understand White Star is more concerned with comfort than speed. Unlike Cunard, his wife adds, pointedly, the Mauritania, and Lusitania, practically shake your teeth loose just to get you to New York a few hours sooner. I'd rather arrive rested than rattled. You contribute, earning nods of agreement from around the table. After dinner, the usual social conventions of Edwardian high society are delightfully relaxed. There's no strict division of ladies to the lounge and gentlemen to the smoking room for cigars and brandy. Instead, the mood remains wonderfully mixed. Some passengers drift towards the reception room, drawn by the promise of hot coffee and conversation. Others, craving the invigorating sea air, head towards the boat deck. A few make their way to the richly appointed smoking room. Defying convention, you decide to join a small group, venturing up to the boat deck to witness the magnificent Titanic prepare for her departure from Cherbourg. The night air is crisp but invigorating, carrying a faint scent of the distant French coastline, which now glitters with countless lights, a mesmerizing tapestry against the dark. You watch as the last tender, a bobbing miniature against Titanic immense side, pulls away, carrying departing visitors back to shore. Then, with all new passengers safely aboard, a deep, resonant roar rips through the night. Titanic whistle. The sound vibrates through your very chest, a powerful, almost primal call to the sea. Slowly, majestically, the massive vessel begins to move again, her bow turning imperceptibly at first, then with a growing sense of purpose towards the open sea. Next stop, Queenstown, someone nearby says, his voice a low murmur. Then nothing but ocean for days. The thought sends an unexpected shiver down your spine. While Titanic feels as solid and unwavering as any grand building on land, there's something humbling, even a little daunting, about the vast, inky blackness of the sea now surrounding you. From your elevated vantage point, high on the boat deck, the water seems impossibly far below, a mysterious, featureless expanse in the dim starlight. A steward passes, his tray laden with steaming cups of hot chocolate. You gratefully accept one, wrapping your fingers around its welcome warmth. The rich, sweet scent of chocolate rises with the steam, momentarily displacing the sharper, briny tang of the sea air. Some passengers have already begun to drift indoors, finding the wind a little too brisk now that the ship is gaining speed. Others, like you, linger at the rails, watching Cherbourg's lights steadily grow smaller until they merge with the distant shoreline, a shimmering thread of light, before finally vanishing altogether into the vast darkness. "I think I'll turn in," your friend says, a small yawn escaping her lips. "It's been quite a day," you nod in agreement, a pleasant exhaustion settling over you. The excitement of boarding, the initial thrill of exploring the ship, and the engaging conversations with new acquaintances have left you delightfully tired. Besides, tomorrow promises even more discoveries, perhaps a visit to the gymnasium, or a relaxing soak in the Turkish baths, and certainly more fascinating people to meet. Making your way back to your stateroom, you find Emily has already turned down the bed, the crisp linen inviting, and laid out your nightclothes. The cabin feels wonderfully cozy, the electric heater having banished any lingering chill from the air. "Will there be anything else, madam?" she asks softly. "No, thank you, Emily. You may retire." Alone, you walk to the small porthole in your cabin and gaze out at the dark, boundless sea. The subtle vibration of the mighty engines creates a gentle, almost soothing hum, combined with the ship's soft, rhythmic sway. It's surprisingly relaxing. As you prepare for bed, your mind reflects on this extraordinary first day aboard the Titanic. The ship has already far exceeded your grandest expectations, not just in its sheer luxury and scale, but in the profound sense of possibility it evokes. For this 1 week, you exist in a world apart, a floating microcosm of Edwardian high society, where every comfort is anticipated and every desire provided for. Slipping between the cool, crisp linen sheets, your body sinks into the comfortable mattress. The gentle rhythm of the ship cradles you, lulling you towards sleep, even as your mind still buzzes with vivid impressions of the day. The gleaming grand staircase, the palatial public rooms, the intriguing characters you've met.